What's up gamers, Lexu here with an update on the Chain Lightning Sorcerer. The public test realm for Season 5 is now available, so I started playtesting the new Axial Conduit unique pants. When Blizzard revealed this item in the last Campfire livestream, it was an exciting moment for Sorcerer players to get a glimpse at a brand new playstyle for Chain Lightning. After spending a few hours on the PTR, I've got to say that the Axial Conduit build is indeed a fun and unique playstyle featuring some of the most visually stunning gameplay in Diablo 4. There's a lot of promise for the new Chain Lightning Sorcerer in Season 5, but there are some issues that could be improved upon. In this video I'll go over the problems of the new Chain Lightning Sorcerer build and my suggestions to improve the build. But first let's cover how Axial Conduit works. The original Chain Lightning skill bounces 5 times after hitting the first target. Its limited targeting and lack of area of effect caused the Chain Lightning Sorcerer to fall off in performance in high-tier Nightmare dungeons and the pit. Against a single target, Chain Lightning bounces off the player to hit the enemy 3 times per cast, but there just wasn't enough damage for it to be effective against tougher bosses. Axial Conduit changes the functionality of Chain Lightning to now alternate between orbiting the player and seeking up to 3 enemies. After orbiting the player 10 times, Chain Lightning ends with an explosion which provides the skill with much needed area of effect. 66 total mana is drained during the duration of the Chain Lightning, which is a substantial amount that requires a lot of mana management. Against a single target, Axial Conduit allows Chain Lightning to seek an enemy 11 times per cast. This Chain Lightning can also hit an additional time when it makes an orbit around the player. This results in 21 hits per cast if you stand close to a single target, greatly boosting Chain Lightning's performance against bosses. I didn't spend a whole lot of time farming with the new Chain Lightning Sorcerer build, so my gear lacks greater affixes and masterworking ranks. Even considering the minimal optimization, so far the performance in the pit is a bit underwhelming. To deal with the mana drain on Axial Conduit, I'm using a recharging amulet, Ring of Starlit Skies, and invigorating conduit, along with mana per second and resource generation affixes. This setup still doesn't completely solve mana issues, and I can only sustain 4 to 5 active Chain Lightnings at a time. Missing from my playtesting are a couple of the new unique items. Crown of Lucian and Locron's Talisman are multiplying damage by a crazy amount on the PTR, and they're most likely bugged. You might see some gameplay footage from some other content creators showing builds dealing damage in the trillions, even quadrillions with these new unique items. We don't know Blizzard's intention here for certain, so there's always going to be people arguing if they're bugged or working as intended. Regardless, their power gains are not normal. I don't see a point in showcasing something that is obviously not going to go live, and rather test an entry-level setup that will actually matter when Season 5 releases. A well-balanced and properly functioning starter build should be a priority, because once the broken uniques are fixed, the build is going to fall behind. Let's go over the problems of the new Chain Lightning build and possible solutions to bring its performance up to par. There are some issues causing Axial Conduit to underperform. The weapon tempering affix that gives Chain Lightning projectiles a chance to cast twice is not working with the build. The additional projectile fires slightly away from the cursor and fizzles out without returning to the player. It doesn't gain the unique effect on Axial Conduit, which seems a bit odd considering the tempering affix is included on the item itself. The aiming issue is even worse when Axial Conduit isn't equipped. When the double cast is procced, both Chain Lightning projectiles fire slightly off course and completely miss the target without dealing any damage at all. Maybe the additional Chain Lightning projectiles should be fixed to work with Axial Conduit's unique effect, and multiple projectiles should all fire in a straight line instead of an arcing range. With the possible setup of a 100% chance to double cast Chain Lightning, the mana drain will also need to be lowered to support twice as many active Chain Lightnings. Cutting the mana drain in half to 3 for a maximum of 33 per projectile would allow sorcerers to benefit from this proposed fix. I have one last bit of feedback for the 2 Chain Lightning aspects that grant additional chains, Unbroken Tether and Lightning Rod. There's an issue with these aspects in single target situations like boss fights. Without Axial Conduit equipped, the aspects work fine to provide additional hits, bouncing back and forth between the player and a boss. With Axial Conduit, additional chains only work against multiple enemies, and the aspects provide nothing in single target situations. This seems to be working as intended and most likely not a bug. I just think Unbroken Tether and Lightning Rod are pretty lackluster in the new Chain Lightning build, to the point where other aspects of damage multipliers that actually work against bosses are better to use. Maybe aspect of the Unbroken Tether doesn't need to be changed, since it's been in the game that way since release, and works well in a starter leveling build without Axial Conduit. Perhaps Lightning Rod aspect should be reworked to synergize better with Axial Conduit, as these new items are being added alongside each other in the Season 5 update. The build doesn't need extra chains that only work against multiple targets, since Axial Conduit already provides enough area of effect to clear groups of enemies. I don't have a specific idea to change Lightning Rod, but it needs to provide more than the 25 to 30% increase to single target damage that is already available right now. If you have any interesting ideas, let me know in the comments. That's all I have for this video. Remember that nothing on the PTR is set in stone, so hopefully we see some buffs to the new Chain Lightning Sorcerer build with Axial Conduit, while all the game-breaking bugs get fixed. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Diablo 4 content. Until next time, peace out and happy slaying.